How about now? Whoops, hang on. How about now? Can you hear me now? Hello? Hello? Anybody? No sound? Now you can hear me? All right, sweet. All right. Welcome, folks. Welcome, fellas, Filettis, to the show. We're doing a free swim topic show today. Maybe there's a proper gap, and I'll probably stream games today or just do videos today, but we'll talk. Now there's a lag or an echo. Jesus Christ. Are you guys getting an echo? Whenever I try to use this new program, everything's cool. Everything's fine. Delay your audio. Oh my God. Why is it so hard, man? Can't you guys just make a fucking proper program? Okay, nobody else is hearing an echo. Okay, good. All right, excellent. Let's begin. First off, yeah, we'll talk about Concord a little bit. I have some topics I want to talk about. You're more than welcome to call in if you want. You don't have to be a member. Let me give you the link, and I will put it up from time to time. Copy link, and just jump on in and let me know what's going on. There it is at the bottom of the screen. Hey, I don't want to click it. I want to show them. You got to give me a minute. This is a new piece of software I'm working with. Anyway, yeah, let's talk about Concord a little bit. Somebody in the chat earlier was like, "Oh, well, look, to assume that this failure has anything to do with DEI is absolutely ridiculous." I'm not saying there aren't people out there that did not care for that aspect of the game, but this is a game, and by the way, yeah, this is a game that failed primarily because it was $40 in a sea of games that were better known, better marketed, and already had established I still have Jaffe still has subscriber only chat. Is this are only subs able to talk? Anybody today should be able to talk. Hang on. Let me fix that real quick. I'm sorry, fellas. But that's the reason, in my opinion, that this is people are able to talk. You don't have to be a member. That's the reason, in my opinion, that this is not really working, and why Concord died was because people are like, well, I can play Apex, I can play Marvel Rivals soon, I can play, with Game Pass, I can play Call of Duty, blah 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 blah. So I don't think it doesn't mean that the DEI for some people didn't make them say, I don't want anything to do with this video game. Sure, I'm sure that occurred for some folks. But I don't think that's most people. I also think what's nice about the statement, and if you don't know what we're talking about, a couple hours ago, staggering news, but I didn't expect it so soon, but Sony came out and said that they're going to pull Concord for now. They're going to give everybody refunds. I already went to Amazon, actually it was Target because Amazon was sold out. Buy a physical copy as soon as you can. So it will be a collector's item. I'm sure Eddie Torres has probably already snapped up like 50 of them, as he should. Because it is, here's what I think is great about what their statement said. It said, basically that they're pulling it, they're listening to feedback, they're going to try to figure out what to do. So it's not that Concord is canceled, although it is, but it's not that the product that they spent 8 years making is canceled. It's that kind of like with multiverses, but in a much more drastic way. They've pulled it in and they're going to figure out, can they save it? Now, here's the most obvious thing that they're probably doing, which is not as exciting to me, but most of these games these days have to have a kill switch in them that say, design this to go free to play. My guess is that Helldivers 2 has it. My guess is that Fair Play has it, and they're actually going to flip it before they even launch, because I'm not saying the reason they have it is because of this, but I remember when we did Drawn to Death and we had to flip from, actually, we went the opposite direction. We went free to play to paid, actually, which is a totally different story. Point though is that, that took us 6 months, and now I think, like, if you look at what happened with Foam Stars, they announced yesterday that Foam Stars, which was originally a premium product, is now going free to play in October. It's probably a handful of switches you flip built in from the beginning, and they knew it was coming. My guess is this is going to be free to play in probably a month, which is why they're giving refunds. They knew immediately that this wasn't working. They probably knew at the betas that they who joined? Somebody joined. Who? Hang on. Somebody joined, but I don't know how to find you. Anyway, I'll figure that out in a second. Sorry, fellas. But so I think what we're going to see is free to play really, really quickly on this. I would love to see something more drastic. I would love to see more of a overall shift in, well, you know what I would love to see, and people make fun of me for it, but I don't care. What I would love to see is them to pull it in and reskin it and retheme it and basically put it out as a free-to-play PlayStation Hero shooter. Because as a game, I talked to Gene Park about this a couple of days ago. He played a lot more of it than I did. He thinks it's a good game, not a great game. I don't have enough experience with it to say it's good or great, but I know it's got great bones. It plays well. It controls well. It feels good when you're moving the characters at the proper speed. Sometimes they're way too slow. There's also, level design work they need to do. I think ultimately it would be great for them to take a year. And I love that Sony's doing this. They're basically doing what, Ubisoft does. It's kind of the cost of doing business these days. You don't just spend all that time and you kill it. You spend that time and you go, okay, what they should have done was put out a lot of stuff earlier, minimal viable product. And hopefully this will teach them what we've been saying on this channel for a long time, which is early access has it right. Put this shit out, figure out if it works, figure out if it connects. If it does, keep going. If it doesn't, either cancel it or pull it back in. But I love that they're going, at least the forward-facing messaging is, hey, we're going to take this and we're going to see what we can do with it. People, whether you love Sony or not, how you can love or not love a company for most parts is weird, but whatever. But whether you love Sony or not, that's pretty cool that they're not just throwing out the entire thing. They're saying, all right, let's give it some more resources. Let's figure out where we went wrong. Welcome to Wherever You Are is kind of, that's what I'm saying. This narrative is going to take hold. It already has. It's going to stick. But I, if you're interested in the actual truth, I think it's kind of a ridiculous concept that, I agree that the playable characters were creatively bankrupt. That's wrong. They were creative, but they weren't appealing. They were absolutely not appealing. Okay. But I will also say that I don't think it's because a robot got they, them. I don't really know what's happening with this program, but Skunk Ape, thank you, buddy. Has just joined the Diet Soda Soldiers. I appreciate that. Welcome to the forum, buddy. Everybody, welcome Skunk Ape with a little pickle tickle. I would appreciate it. Morgan says, and again, pardon me as I'm getting used to the software. I think saying the entire thing is dead in a week is too far. Give them a month and this will retract and they will announce full closure. I think if you're talking about the announcement that they made, okay, so let me just make sure I understand. What you're saying is they had to pull it because they knew they were going to kill it. And instead of keeping it on sale, which would have been bad form and people could have figured out in emails and class actions, you guys knew you were going to kill it 2 weeks after it launched and you were still selling it. This is to get ahead of that, is what you're saying. Like, you think it's not going back into the garage for maintenance. It's dead. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know if I agree that that's what they're doing. Well, I'm kind of hoping for the best. I'm listening to, you know, as they say, the better angels, and hoping that what we're talking about is Sony getting wise and going, we have something potentially great here. Kind of like somebody in the chat was saying, Final Fantasy 14. Let's not overreact and let's make some adjustments. But again, yeah, okay, now that's interesting. Philip says, now, and this I will agree with. Okay, I will agree with that. That's an interesting way to put it, and I haven't seen it articulated like that. Philip says, this I agree with. He says it has nothing to do with gay, trans, pronouns, anything like that. And I think you're right. I think there are vocal assholes that are opposed to those things, but I don't think that's most people. They may have different views about where and how those things are comfortable to them to be presented in the world, which again, it's irrelevant how comfortable they are because these are our fellow humans. Who gives a shit? But I think you're right on that. But he says the designs are actively hostile to the male gaze. And that, I have not seen that so well articulated ever when it comes to this game, because even me as a super progressive lefty, I felt that as well. I'm super progressive. I'm super lefty. And I'm also a straight male. And I like sexy women. That does not mean I need all the women in my games to be sexy. I don't need any of the women in my games to be sexy. But you're absolutely spot on when you say the designs feel like they're taking the straight male and shoving your nose in. Look, you don't get anything to get a boner with. Fuck you. It feels that way. I think it's a great way to put it. Absolutely. Okay, so did I hear, no disrespect, but guys don't want to play a heavy set character with pronouns. I don't agree, Nine Lives. I think, it's not about, first off, you can say fat. Fat's not an offensive word, but anyway, like when I saw that big fat guy, I was thinking, like, at first, it's not the fact that they're fat. Like, I'm thinking of Baron Harkonnen in Dune, right? I forget who the actor is who plays him in the new Dune, that big fucking fat guy who's so fat he has anti-grav, boots or whatever to float him around. I'm like, that's a cool character. It's just that he wasn't very appealing. He was kind of dorky looking. I don't think it's about him being fat. So it's a good point too. Sony was losing money, says Toxmod, every single day those servers were open for Concord. In reality, there's less than 100 people playing it. Well, I mean, you only have the Steam numbers. I'm sure it was more than that. But okay, I want to figure out, I'm going to look at the chat. I know there's a bunch of chats coming and I don't want to ignore them. I'm just trying to figure out, I think somebody tried to log in. I'm going to put the link back up if you want to call in and say your piece. I think this should do it. And just if you want to call in, click it. Let me know what happens. Funny Stuttering says, I'm too old to play video games. Bitch, you may be right. I'm too old to play some video games. But I would love for you to extrapolate on that. How is I think what you're saying is you think I'm too old to play fast action reflex games. And there's some truth to that. Okay, it says Turtle joined, and I know some people want to hear from P Turtle, but I don't know how to bring them in. It says add guest. Oh, maybe I do. Hang on. Maybe this will do it. Hang on. Turtle, if you're there, give me a minute. Share stream. I don't want to share the stream. I'm trying to bring in Turtle. Hang on. Is it this? Or is it this? Where the fuck are you, baby? Add camera. Okay. Again, bear with me. I'm learning this software. I apologize. Team. Turtle, I know you're there. Let me just stay in the lobby or wherever you are. I'll figure it out eventually. Give me a few minutes. Anyway, but yeah, the idea though of being too old, like I am playing more games that at easier levels now. I'm still enjoying them. I'm doing pretty good at Wukong. But sure, if you're talking about being too old to play at the highest level Call of Duty competitive, yeah, you're not wrong. Although I am enjoying the beta a great deal. It's a lot of fun. But, you know, I was there when the goddamn business started, bitch, and I'll be there and I'll be there, you know, till the day I die gaming. I'll probably die with a game controller in my hand. You know, it's such a, I don't know. I know you're trolling, but it's something I do think about as I watch the industry advance and I watch people get older who make games and grew up playing games. I'm fascinated by the, what kind of shifts we're going to see. And I don't just mean shifts like, more cell phone games and shit, but I mean like, you know, narrative based games. Like I'm playing Star Wars right now, Outlaws. And again, I'm playing it on, I vacillate betwixt story and, normal mode, but I'm enjoying the shit out of it. And I hope, you know, more people continue to discover gaming. Sony could have ported Bloodborne to PC. Instead, we got Concord. Well, okay, praise the oak, but hindsight is 2020, right? I mean, basically, Bloodborne was never a big hit. It's one of the best games ever made. Yes, it is probably, believe it or not, in my opinion, the IP that Sony owns that is my favorite in terms of just the world and the lore and all that shit. But it sold like 5 million copies and not even at full price. So I think if you're looking back and whoever it was at the time, I guess Jim Ryan is sitting there going, well, do I greenlight a port to PC of this game that at the time had only sold 5 million? Morgan saying it was 7 or 7 now after all that time. Or do I greenlight what could be our Fortnite, even though obviously it's not their Fortnite? You know, I mean, what would you do? What would you do? But sure. And again, I think it's easy money for them. It just may not be, enough easy money for them, right? They, you know, we know they'll make profit if they put Bloodborne on PC or remaster it, which may be happening anyway, but, is it enough to satisfy what they spend and what their bottom line people demand? I don't fucking know. All right, share this link. You may also share this link. I've shared the link. People have clicked it. They say they want to come in and talk. I would like to have them. Enough easy money is crazy, says Remont. Yeah, I know. But, you know, you're talking huge budgets and expectations on the part of their stockholders and the company in general. What does it feel like? Hang on. What does it feel like the fact that Drawn to Death is what lasted long? Yeah, I that's the first thing I thought. Mech says, do you feel relief knowing Concord is a bigger flop than Drawn to Death? I'm just glad we lasted longer. You know, how much did Concord cost to develop? I have no idea, because people say it was 8 years, but was it 8 years full production, or was it 8 years like, okay, we had a skeleton crew for the first 5 years figuring out the game, and then the last 3 years it was pedal to the metal with a relatively decent sized team? I have no fucking clue. Why in the world am I not able to bring people in? This is pissing me off. It's really pissing me off. Okay. Enabled for 2 people, 3 people. That should be happening. Hang on. Hide. Oh, maybe this is why. Hang on. I liked Drawn to Death as well. I'm good, Jim Ryan. I'm not, and Twisted Metal lasted longer too. All right, hang on. Let me, I'm real sorry, fellas. I did tell people they could call in, and I want to make sure that I give them that opportunity. And I'm trying to figure out why I'm not able to pull that off. But I won't spend too much time with it. If I can't solve it now, I'll solve it on the next show, before the next show. Okay. Add a guest. I did that. Yeah. Okay. Why are games taking forever to play now? Because to make now, you mean? Because, the demands for high quality graphics are huge, right? The demands for the insane visual fidelity of games are huge. Games need to be longer. Now, not every game is taking forever. You've got not mobile. You've got indie games that don't. You've got AA games that don't. But if you're talking about, and there was an article that came out today. I haven't read it. I was going to talk about it on the later show today, but there was an article that came out from like Game Industry Biz or something, talking about people within Sony being worried about the game division's vision, right? And I bring it up only because in order to continue to make the games that Sony is famous for, it's just going to get more expensive and it's going to take longer. And the service stuff at the moment is kind of sort of working, depending on, is Helldivers the anomaly or is Concord the anomaly? And so I think, because the kind of games you consider, or a lot of people consider, a acceptable game, which is a AAA Sony banger, the amount of effort is massive to create those. Jaffe says, welcome. Are you at all off-put by the voice actor who voiced the protagonist in Wukong? For some reason, he is playing it like a villain. I'm not off-put by it. If you don't know, if you haven't played it, it's more high. It's not like it's very high pitched and kind of almost like, it's kind of this sort of trickster character. I don't know the Monkey King, so maybe that's how he's meant to come across. Like maybe that's incredibly the right way to portray the voice. I think at least in the West, a lot of us are used to our protagonists being more, at least if they're men or male, being more masculine and having more of a, I am the Monkey King. I will fucking kill the person who hates the Monkey King. I don't fucking know the story. But in this, he does come off more like, well, be careful, and it's not bad so much as it's unexpected. Morgan says it's because Wukong, the Monkey King, is supposed to be arrogant. Right. It could be. Yeah. I don't know anything about it. Okay. But that would be my response. Good, sir. I have not heard of the Matt Reeves Batman tie-in game. I don't really know what that's about. I don't know why they haven't done anything with Twisted Metal. They did gaming nating. Is it nating? I can't see your name. Yeah, gaming nating. They did, and they canceled it. But I'll give you a great example why. I mean, there's a game that just came out. I'm doing a video on this actually, called Speed Freaks, right? And Speed Freaks is a Warhammer game, blah, blah, blah. But it's their online Twisted Metal-esque kind of thing. And it just came out. It's free to play. Try it on Steam. And it gives you the exact problem. And I will show it to you using my Ozempic pen and a lighter I used to light candles with. So it shows you exactly why, if you're going to actually make car combat work, you need somebody to come along with a different vision. And so here's what you've got. You've got your car and you've got the enemy car. And what's historically been car combat is this. You pass each other, you shoot, you do-si-do again. Eventually somebody runs out of weapons or they think they're going to die and they run off and disengage to get health. And you go from offense to offense, defense. Or sometimes it's defense because they're both like, fuck it, I got to get out of here, right? But it's in this engagement where the lack of nuance shows itself when you're moving this fast. Now, if you wanted to take let's look top down for a brief moment. If you wanted to take your car and kind of make it, in Twisted Metal, they already don't really drive like cars anyway, right? In air, you can rotate 360, not 360, but 361. You can rotate in a full circle. Okay. When you're not moving, you don't have to accelerate in order to rotate. If you want to also add side jets to the thing, if you want to add 2 or 3 more things that, if you want to add jumps, if you want to add things that no longer feel like you're looking and driving a car even more, then and you also want to add maybe a little bit more nuance to like kind of like Car Wars, the old RPG, like what side of the car, or Destruction Derby, like what side of the car you need to protect because this side is weak, and if you get hit here again, either you're going to die or it's going to take this weapon offline. Like there are things that you could definitely do to make the do-si-do more interesting. But the question is the game going so fast, and to slow it down enough to create those relationships and to add the fidelity of motion to vehicles to create those relationships that we just talked about, they suddenly stop feeling like cars and they just look like cars from the visual, which is why a lot of the games you see today that are car combat, like Speed Freaks, there's a couple on Steam, they're set in big open environments. There's no streets, there's no buildings to duck behind, because it's basically they let you hit the gas and then rotate your turret 360 camera like in Halo with the gun on Warthog, because at least that gives you something to always be doing versus looking ahead and knowing that your bad guy's behind you. So I don't mean to get too into the weeds there, but it's something I think about a lot. And there was a Twisted Metal game that was in development and they canceled it because they're like, well, we don't know why, but they certainly didn't think it was good enough to go. Okay. Let me go down here. I think I need Ozempic, says Smaug. What's your experience been with it? It's been great. My current issue with it is, so I lost 30 pounds on this almost I was pre-diabetic. I'm not pre-diabetic anymore. I don't know how diabetes works, but I mean, all that concern is gone by the doctor because of this. And I lost 30 pounds from in 2 months. And since then, though, I've just been plateaued. And so I told the doctor that, and she said, okay, well, let's give it 1 more month. And if it doesn't work, we can, there's some different medicines that do the same thing, but different chemical makeups. But my experience has been great. But I mean, you have to follow your doctor's orders. Some people abuse it how much because they think, oh, I'll lose more weight if I take 2 jabs a week and all that shit. But if you follow your doctor's orders and you get your blood test and all that, should be fine. D-Truck says, any nausea or stomach aches? Nothing meaningful, no. I mean, every now and then I'll wake up and feel a little and then it'll pass in 5 minutes. And I'll realize that I had basically been fucking Bukaki's mother. And I'm like, oh, well, that's why I feel nauseous. But yes, Bukaki, it pretty much suppresses the appetite. Like I remember taking it. And hang on. I remember taking it for the first time the day before Thanksgiving. And it was really fascinating because going to Thanksgiving lunch or whatever it was when we did it, I had half a biscuit and, a couple other little 4 or 5. I mean, this didn't sustain, but I was just I wasn't hungry after a couple of bites. Now that changed and you got to work, I drink this stuff. I drink muscle milk to get protein that I'm not getting because I'm not eating as much, but it's been nothing but a positive experience so far is what I would say. Da Vinci's Demo is talking to Morgan. He says, people control narratives. People say Suicide Squad sucked because of Sweet Baby Inc. This narrative is everywhere. Yeah, but they're wrong. I mean, that the biggest tragedy in my mind about where we're at with all of this shit is that the narrative is at least online. Maybe it's not happening in the real world, but on Twitter, gaming Twitter, what's taken hold is this narrative of, well, the reason this is all happening is because go woke, go broke. And it's Suicide Squad was not that woke of a game. I played more of it than most people. I got to the very end of that game, and I couldn't beat the final boss, and I quit. But I played all of it in the first season, whatever, and I enjoyed it. But there's nothing, it's not like, what's that new game that just came out, the Dustborn, or even Life is Strange. People talk about Suicide Squad like it was that. I'm like, what are you talking about? No, it wasn't that at all. And there are plenty of games that do sell well, that do have much more overt, what people would call woke content, like The Last of Us, like Spider-Man on PlayStation. So, I think these guys running around doing victory laps, like the Mark Kerns or the Grums, whatever his name is, of the world, it feeds their narrative. It feeds the algorithm, makes them some ducats, but it's not accurate. I think I really do feel this way, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but I think most people don't have any problem with Muslim folks, Jewish folks, Christian folks, gay folks, straight folks, trans. Most people just want to get through the day and have a good shot at having a good life. Now, are there some racist, homophobic, transphobic assholes out there? And do they get most of the news? Yeah. But I think most people have no problem with this stuff. Most people didn't care that in Rise of Skywalker, there was a gay kiss for the first time in Star Wars. Nobody cared, except gay folks who were like, hey, it's nice to be represented in Star Wars. Most people don't give a shit. It's just that it was a terrible movie. It was a piece of shit. It was, and I'll tell you something. You ever think about where the fuck J.J. Abrams went? I know he's producing the new Batman cartoon, which is great, Cape Crusader on Amazon Prime. But short of that man hasn't gotten behind a camera, as far as we know, since Rise of Skywalker. And I like J.J. Abrams. I thought Super 8 was great. I've liked some of his other movies. His Mission Impossible films were great. But good God almighty, that was a terrible piece of crap on celluloid or digital or whatever it was. Jaffe, have you seen the trailer for the new Halloween and Ash versus Dead video games? I sure have. Way Forward's producing them. I'm in day one, at least I'm not a big Evil Dead guy. I like them, but it's Michael Myers for me. And it's goofy to see Michael Myers running around, so almost like as an action hero, right? Like, he's not an action hero, but running around in a side scroller that's that fast. But it is what it is, but I'm looking forward to it. $6 says, Google the long-term side effects of Ozempic. They are scary. Be careful, Jaffe. We love you. I love you back. Look, here's the deal. Any medicine you take has you take just basic meds your whole life, and your liver is going to give out at some point, right? Because it's got to process all the poison. It's not helpful. But there is a point when you get to my age, 53, and it's like, well, Jaffe, you've been trying to lose weight on your own. And not that I want to lose weight for vanity reasons, but because I want to be healthier and have more energy. And it's not working. So at that point, you just start to risk, okay, you could be on Ozempic, and 30 years down the line, or 15 or 10 years, we learn, oh my God, you have a 90% chance of getting cancer. Yeah, but the chance of dying of a heart attack or diabetes related stuff was probably higher. So, but I appreciate the concern. Thank you for that. $6. Ultra Awesome says Concord is no longer available on PS Store and Steam. Surprised how quickly they pulled it. I think legally they have to at this point. I think, like I said, it was hard for me to find one copy at Target this morning after the news broke, but I did. And I recommend you do the same because it's going to be worth something. But I don't know if it's because it's going to go free to play and they don't want to keep taking people's money. I don't know if because they're going to cancel it, and whatever it is, the idea that they know whatever that product was is going to change drastically if it comes back at all. And there could be class action suits if they're still selling this thing when they knew that. I think that's the concern. Okay. Let me go down to, some of these chats. Sorry for that. Okay. Yeah. Codrin says, no need for Ozempic. Just stop eating. Sure. There's no need to have problems in the Middle East. They should just stop fighting each other. Just don't hate each other. Do I think it'll be worth something in the future? Absolutely. I sure do. A physical copy of Concord. Because look, the most uninteresting, undramatic scenario is going to be that they just cancel it altogether. The most interesting scenario is going to be that they reskin it as something drastically different. Or they just flip it to free to play is probably the most uninteresting. Regardless, to have a game that basically was alive and on sale for 8 days, a first party major game, and now you cannot get it anywhere. Yes, that, I mean, it may not be worth, the gold plated Zelda cart mint condition, but you're going to go buy it for $40 at Target. You'll probably be able to flip it in 5 years for, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Eddie T's watching. He can tell you more. I mean, he doesn't sell his stuff. He collects it. So he buys a lot of this stuff. But my guess is that product for collectors is at the least in 5 years going to be, it's probably going to be $500 would be my guess. Mutant Mo says, is unprecedented accurate? What do you mean in terms of, is this, yeah, get the Concord controller too. Destiny 2 on disc isn't that much. Yeah, but Destiny 2, when it was free, or before it was free, was available as a paid product, correct, for a very, very, very long time. This has been out for 8 days, right? This is a narrative that is now going to be, when you read about the 10 biggest disasters in video game history in 10 years, this is going to be in there. Or the biggest 10 biggest turnarounds, if they are able to get in bed with, the about face of Rainbow Six, Final Fantasy 14, blah, blah, blah. Do I think Marvel Rivals will go the way of Concord, says DeNova? No, for 2 reasons. For 2 reasons. One is that it is genuinely, I mean, I'm not saying Concord's not genuinely great, but I had more fun playing Rivals. That's just me. That's subjective. But the characters are not only not just almost aggressively disliked, which is what you see in Concord, but they are some of the most beloved characters on the planet and have been for decades. And it's free. And the biggest issue with Concord, really, it may not have ever become a big hit, but them launching at $40 was just, I don't know, man. Maybe they were like, yeah, we thought, I mean, look, I thought launching Helldivers at $40 was moronic. And it turned out that it wasn't. So maybe they were like, oh, let's just do more of that, right? Do more. I had somebody on the chat last night say, all Sony needs to do is take what works and do more of it. It's like, okay, well, they did that with Concord, right? I know it's not the exact same thing, but I'm just saying that, that's their biggest flop. And the fact that Marvel Rivals is free is going to give it a more of a fighting chance, is what I would say. Excuse me, fellas. Sweet Tooth says, it's not about hating woke games. It's about that clearly most of the developers are just in the business to be an activist. They don't buy player support games. You don't have any information to back that up, though. You simply don't. I mean, everybody, there's not a test that you take to get in. Look, if there was a test to take to get into video games to determine who was allowed to work in gaming, I wouldn't have passed it. I literally took 3 days to finish the first game that they gave me to test as a tester at Sony, because I loved games, but I loved movies more. And I was only there as a means to an end. I was there in order to pay the bills so I could go direct movies. Right. Well, I ended up finding a way to, make those 2 things work for a while together. And that was great. And I ended up learning to love games because I, played enough of them that I was like, oh my fucking God. In fact, I have to tell you guys something amazing I discovered last night about game design. But point being, though, is that there wasn't a test then and there's not a test now. And are there people who look, if first off, like Morgan says, there's a lot better ways to be an activist than in affect change than working in video game. I mean, think about what you're saying. I'm going to go work for a video game company in hopes that I will eventually get a creative seat at the table amid all these other voices that I have to please, on the off chance that I will be able to, at that time, whenever it comes, when I get my shot, to push my agenda. Come on. I mean, that's a ridiculous, that is the most ineffective activist I've ever seen in my life. Harvey Milk is dead, and he's still that's a terror. I'm not going to do that joke, but the point is, a dead activist is more effective than that. Let's just say that. So no, I don't agree with you at all. Stephen Hawking's, I don't agree with that either. He says people at Sony don't fucking care about games. They care about money and are fucking out of touch with gamers. They aren't a goddamn Iwata or Miyamoto who have the gamers' pulse and hearts. Well, so yes, they don't have, in my opinion, I mean, there are people there. Like, I think honestly, if you could take Scott Rhodey and Shuhei, I think is too enamored by innovation sometimes, which is why we get a big push for VR. And but more often than right, Shu is absolutely on point with what's good, and Rhodey is a really good guy for going, we need to push things that are more commercial. And maybe Shu's really quirky indie he found, we can somehow turn that in, So I think they have people there that I know, and there's tons of people I don't know who work there now. I haven't worked there forever. They might have it, but at the moment, they're not in a position to affect any change, as far as I can tell, at the level that I think you're talking about. But to say people there don't care about games, I mean, all these companies are out for money. The idea that they do this for the love of the game, I mean, they're in a job where they get to do what they love, but they're also in a job. And so the idea that Sony's some kind of weird bad company because they put money at the forefront of everything, yeah, welcome to how business works. I'm not sure why that's a surprise to anybody. But let me see. Let me get that there. Okay, sorry about that. Wait, I'm learning this. I'm sorry. Okay. I just ordered a copy of Concord from Best Buy. Movie Maniac, smart move. I don't think Mario 3D All-Stars goes for that much yet, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, wait and see. It's only $40. If you made a bad investment, oh well, it's $40. I'm going to kill you. I mean, it might, but if it is, you shouldn't be buying video games. PlayStation profits because of bad management equals Star Wars profits because of bad management. Well, I mean, look, PlayStation has made some absolute great decisions this generation. I mean, look at where they are. I don't enjoy the PlayStation ecosystem like I once did. I'm much happier playing on PC, but I still can respect the fact that they are the number one console seller. They've made some really smart choices, but okay. Durv, is it Durv? Durv says, Jaffe, I'm quitting the ganja for a bit. My question is, do you ever feel a lack of motivation or grogginess with it? I like doing it, but it's made me more complacent, gives me brain fog. Yeah, but I don't get it because of that. I do get brain fog, and I've actually been on a program the last only couple of days, and it seems to be helping, but I'll let you know in a month or two. But I don't do it that often. I smoke marijuana, these days once every 6 to 8 weeks. I do it. I don't do it like as a part of my day. Like Kevin Smith used to wake up and he would just be smoking from the minute he woke up to the minute he went to bed. Right. That's not how I did it. I did it because I wanted to have an experience. I either wanted to watch a scary movie and get freaked out, or I wanted to try to commune with aliens and shit, whatever I was trying to do at any given moment. So, it sounds like you were more of an active user, so I couldn't really speak to that experience that you're having with it. Hang on. Yeah, well, how funny is it, says Darth Nugget, that Sony was so confident in Concord they paid for a whole ass episode of the Secret Level series. I mean, look, you got to swing for the fences. It's like, I'm sorry, but this, what do you think? Let me ask you this. What do you think is more probable, that the gamers on the internet, I mean, because this is how they, I can't tell. Let's assume it's not a joke. Let's assume how they present is how they feel, which is, we know better. And if the gaming companies would just listen to us, everything would be fine and they would have no failures. Do you think that's really what's going on? Or do you think making video games is just, or making any product, but certainly an entertainment product, is just really fucking hard to know what's going to connect? Because it is the easiest thing in the world to greenlight and promote safe shit that you've already played. And guess what? That's where you get the complaints Ubisoft has gotten forever. Now, maybe they're turning the corner with Star Wars and maybe with Assassin's Creed Shadows, but they have earned the reputation of being cookie cutter, samey. Every game is basically playing the same. And they do that because they look at the sales and go, well, people keep showing up. Let's keep greenlighting that shit, right? The idea that everybody knows what's going to hit. I don't mean you should be humble. People should have their own arrogance and their own belief and belief in their, have conviction, but you have to when you're working. I thought when I was working at Sony that God of War, I didn't know if God of War was going to hit, but I knew they were the right decisions to make. But I also thought Drawn to Death was probably going to hit, and it didn't. You don't ever really fucking know. And so I don't know, this idea that a lot of people are acting as if they could have told you this was going to fail. Here's what I'll tell you. And I've said this before. Why Sony waited as long as they did to show this off and to let people play it. That is the problem. Right? Fair Game is the same problem. The fact that again, all we saw on Fair Game was a movie, so who knows how far along it really was when they revealed that movie. But all it took was one look, and it's like, that's incredibly unappealing. Please don't make the game look like that. Please don't make those characters like that, right? They need to get comfortable with early access. They need to get comfortable with minimal viable product, putting it out there, because that is the only way. It's not a path to every game being a hit, but it's a path to getting your data ASAP. Look, here's what a lot of people don't remember. And I'm grateful Sony had no fucking clue at the time what they were doing. When we did Drawn to Death, we put out probably 18 months before the game shipped. We had alphas out. We had codes we gave away because we wanted to see what was working and what wasn't. If anybody at Sony had really been paying attention, and I'm not saying it's like they were a wonderful partner, but they didn't, you don't know what you don't know. And they had not done service-based games. It was this, Killstrain, and Guns Up. Those were the three kind of tip of the spear from San Diego before anyone even thought you could do free to play or service-based games on console, right? Fortnite had not broken at the time. And so we had put these alphas out. And if you're paying attention, like we were as the developer, you put out a whole batch of codes on a Friday. It's like, hey, come and get them. We've got 500 codes. Play the game for free this weekend. See what you think. And by Sunday, from that 500, there were maybe 3 people playing, right? And I didn't have the experience to go, there is something fundamental. I was like, oh, well, let's tweak this. Or maybe it's the matchmaking algorithm, or maybe it's this small thing over here. Maybe this character has too many hit points. I was like looking granularly. But if after a month of that, we would have come together and said, okay, why are we losing? Yes, this gun may be too powerful. This character may be too difficult to control, but we shouldn't be losing 95, 96% over the course of 2 days of our audience that just got the game for free. And we would have either known to pull it or make some drastic changes. And that would have saved a lot of money. Imagine now doing that on some of these other games, like a Concord, like a Fair Play, that cost a lot more. And they have a lot more invested in terms of they need to succeed, because Sony really does need some long-term games of service hits. I mean, that would have been real helpful, I think. So I don't know. I don't know why they don't, but I hope they do soon. Hope they do start, flipping over to that mentality. P Turtle, fuck off. Jaffe, he says, I've been waiting for like an hour. Is this how you treat your longtime viewers that could possibly be African American? I would love to have you come in, P Turtle. I would love to take people's calls. I want to know what you guys feel. Okay, give me not just P Turtle, but I'd like other people to call in as well. But I don't understand what's happening. Why I can't bring you in. I'm going to try this one more time. Would somebody who's willing, who's not P Turtle, because I just want to make sure maybe it's on P Turtle's end. Would somebody who's willing to call in, even without their camera, just click this link and tell me what is occurring for you, because I can't find a way. I don't know where I'm supposed to click to bring you in. Is the issue. I'm looking at my screen. I'm using a software called Talk Studio from Streamlabs. I don't know what, okay. Okay. So there you go. Lee Perez joined. I see him. Lee, are you there? Lee Perez, are you there, bud? Hello. Okay, well, I see him. Maybe he's muted on his end, but I definitely see him and he's on the screen. Now we have Marcusor. Okay, Mark. Okay, there you go. So you know what? I think it's Pete Turtle. I think he may not. He might. What are you playing? What are you playing?
Oh, Hell Let Loose.
Oh yeah. It's amazing. That's like fucking war hardcore. That's good. I'm sorry, but it's good.
Yeah, I don't mean to be showing around, but I've just been messing around. PS5, got the VR2, driving a rig.
Good God. How long ago did your wife leave you and say it's me or all this shit?
She's still with me. In fact, she's right over there.
I said, how long ago did you leave him? Because all of the money he spent on his gaming shit.
It's director of God of War.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi, sir.
How are you? Oh, please. How are you?
11 years married, 8-year-old daughter, and just spend income on stuff.
All right, man. Well, listen, it goes fast. Enjoy it. 8 years. Yeah. I remember looking at my kid when she came out of the bedroom one year, and she was like 7. And I remember going, I'm gonna focus on this moment because I know it's gonna be gone in a heartbeat. And it was. And I'm still very close to my children. I adore them, but those ages go by so quick. Enjoy the shit out of it, man. And
she was like 3 yesterday, and now she's in 2nd grade. So
it's delightful. What a fun ride. All right, buddy. Thank you for helping me test it out.
No worries. Right. You're welcome. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. All right. Well, look at that. That was nice. All right. What do we got? We got Rob the Mod. Where's Rob the Mod? I can't hear Rob the Mod. Let's bring on TJM. What's up, TJM?
Hey, Jeff. How's it going?
Good. What do you think about Concord? What's going on?
The characters are abysmal. I'm on the same wavelength as you. I was just helping you out because you dropped the link.
No, you have to tell me now. You have to do a deep dive analysis of Concord. Okay, here's my question to you. Sony can do one thing to save the game. What's the one thing they would do?
Drop Spider-Man 3.
To save Concord?
Yeah, like I said, I don't even plan on playing it to save Concord from being canceled. You said?
Yeah.
Revamp characters. Simple. I'm drawing Jean Grey right now. I think it's just simple character design. It's just like pretty. It's like the
show me. Can you flip your camera to show us Jean Grey? Okay, classic Jean Grey, right?
That's that is a that's what's her name? That's Kat McNamara. She was on the Green Arrow show.
Oh, you're drawing that actress as Jean Grey.
Yes.
Gotcha. No, I tell you, I saw the designs for Jean Grey for Wolverine. I know that those aren't final, And people were like, well, that's how Jean Grey is in the comics. I'm like, dude, I've been reading since she was Marvel Girl. Marvel Girl was hot then. And Jean Grey. And she's hot now. So I appreciate you sharing your art. Thank you, buddy.
No problem. Have a good one, Jeff.
You too, sir. Rob the Mod, how you doing? Oh, he went away. All right. Oh, there we go. We got Pete Turtle here finally. No, we don't. Pete Turtle.
Wait.
All right. What are you doing, Pete Turtle? How you doing?
Holy shit. Hold on. I'm trying to turn this camera off. I think when I turn the camera off, it doesn't work. Hold on. Let me just try.
Lee Perez, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
Hey.
Hang on. I'll bring you back in a second, Pete Turtle. You were too slow. 1 sec, buddy. What's going on, Lee Perez?
Hey, not much. Since we have this working now, I had a question for you.
Yeah.
You were talking about games and length of time, and there's obviously different expectations from people from an indie game versus a AAA game. What do you think is a good number of hours total for an indie action adventure game? What should people kind of expect for that kind of price point?
That's such an impossible question, right? Because an action adventure. Okay, here's what I would say: not an RPG, not a game where you go out and you grind and all that. You're just talking like a game that is a narrative about a single character, not a collectathon like Banjo-Kazooie, anything like that.
Yeah, because for example, Hades kind of breaks it because they advertise that it's got over 100 hours, but they can do it because they had a successful first game, but. I think
it's also a rogue game. It's a rogue game can be infinite, right? But ultimately, though, I think if you're talking about a game like Devil May Cry, God of War, Onimusha, Resident Evil, I think those games are best when they're 8 to 12 hours. I think you want to get on, show players new things as frequently as possible. If you're retreading old ground, make sure that you're retreading it in a way that's at least interesting, and then get off after you're done. I think anything beyond that, it just feels like padding because it takes a lot of time to make content for those kinds of games because they're not as system based as they are handcrafted based,
I think that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. All right. Cool, man. Cool. Thank you, Lee. I appreciate it, buddy. All right, here we go. This is Pete Turtle. Maybe. Yep. Pete Turtle, are you there?
No, this is me. Can you hear me?
You're Rob the Mod.
I'm not Pete Turtle.
Pete Turtle. Pete Turtle, are you there?
Pete Turtle.
You can't hear me.
Hang on. Hello? Pete Turtle, are you there?
Yeah.
Pete Turtle.
Hello.
Are you there?
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm kidding. I can hear you. What's up?
Oh my God.
What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm talking about Concord. What do you think?
I can't wait. Can I? Let me shut this. All right. Well, anyway. No, I was calling because I saw your rant last night about Call of Duty.
We got to talk about that too. Yeah.
Oh, pathetic. And then I thought to myself, well, you know what? They probably have a shooter that they make for people like, David Jaffe, Mr. Softies, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a game called Concord. So I was like, okay, instead of ruining Call of Duty for everybody, why not just make everybody play Concord that, isn't a real man? Mm-hmm. And can't, deal with real life. Okay, that's the perfect game for them.
Let me ask you a question. This is fascinating that, so what you're telling me is a real man is going to want to play a game where they can butt fuck other men.
They're not butt fucking other men. They're simulating it.
Why would you even simulate it?
Because it's a sign of dominance.
It's a sign of being a gay man who's raping someone who doesn't want to have sex with you.
No, it's not. You're the sick one that would look at something like that and say, "You're telling me about gay butt rape."
You are a male character. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You are most of the skins are male. You are taking a male character as a male character, grabbing their body, and you are simulating anal sex, and you consider that a sign of dominance, and I consider that a sign of homosexuality, and I'm the one who's got problems?
Yes, because you're looking too much into it. It's like when you watch the Generation X and they're telling everybody to suck it. Do you think they're telling the entire audience to really suck their penis? Or is it just a mean thing to say to people?
It is That's exactly right. But this
okay, so when you're doing this in a video game, that's what it's meant to mean. It doesn't mean, hey, I actually want to fuck you, man.
But doesn't okay, so what you're telling me is you find the desire to express your dominance in a video game worth actually simulating and having to sort of be there for an act that is, maybe not that tasteful to you if you are a straight male. And it's also necrophilia. You're also fucking a dead body.
I can't believe you look at it like that.
That's how I look at it.
It's a joke and it makes people happy. And again, it's just a taunt.
Let me tell you what really bothered me the most. Okay. This is what bothered me the most about the response to that video. Okay. You would have thought that I was advocating for the developer to remove it or to cancel the developer or to cause an uproar so they took it out. That's how people are responding. Is it not okay for me to just go, yeah, it should stay in if the developer and the publisher wants? I would.
No, that's not the problem. The problem is, go ahead.
Let me finish. I would love for there to be a option to be able to go in and say, yeah, let them do whatever they want to my dead body, but let me just die on my local hardware. And then my respawn might take 2 or 3 seconds later. And then I'm back in the game, but I don't want to see it. I don't want you whispering in my fucking ear, which you can do as you're carrying around my dead body over to a corner where you're going to butt fuck it. Right. All I was saying is I don't like it. I found it offensive. I found it distasteful, but I wouldn't want it gone if people like it. I never said
Can I ask
that.
you a question? Can I ask you a question?
Why do you think people are responding that way? Like, what? I'm not allowed to have my personal opinion?
No, I think it's because it's a slippery slope. I think when somebody like you puts that out there and then it gets to the devs who make the game, their reaction is probably going to be take it out altogether, other than let's make people who are half okay with simulated butt rape versus, the people who are not okay with it. We're gonna rather please the ones that are not, because these are woke developers. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Movie Maniac says, but the whispering is the most romantic part. Like I said, I think it's funny as well. I just think it's also distasteful. But no,
Jeffy, God of War was distasteful.
No, how is God of War distasteful?
I mean, before I'm about to fight these monsters, I'm going to have sex with 2 big titty women.
How is that distasteful?
It's not distasteful to us, but to the people, to the current day devs and the current day activists that are working in the game industry, I guarantee you they find that distasteful.
Yeah, but I don't care about that because
so we don't care about what you think.
That's why I said don't take it out. Keep it in. Put it in the marketing.
You can keep it in. I understand about the choice. The problem is, again, it goes back to being a slippery slope.
Okay, but I'm not slipping on anybody's slope. How about you just let these people
make the game they want to make? How about that?
They are making the game they want to make.
Okay, so stop crying about it. Go play Concord.
I don't even understand your position. I think your position is you want to be able to get angry at something. And even though this doesn't hit the check boxes of things that can make you angry, it's close enough. But when you really think about it, I'm not telling you to take it out. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying.
Oh my God.
I'm not.
For a guy that's so smart, you can be so stupid sometimes.
If you no. If you actually think, ad hacker, that's great. If you actually think that what I am saying, I open that video by going First Amendment, let them do what they want. I support it. I don't think they should take it out. I think it's funny, but it's also awful. Blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you think that people are so stupid that they can't handle that, that's too nuanced, that I either need to just shut up or say I want it taken out, then I'm sorry, I overestimated the intellectual capacity.
Why can't you do what you tell us to do? The people who hate all the woke stuff, you tell us, oh, well, just don't play it. Just don't play it. Why can't you do that? Why do you gotta go all Adam Sessler and pressure the goddamn devs to now put in a new feature to make you feel better about yourself?
What do you think I am suggesting the developer do? So you're saying the very nature of me saying, hey, if it were me, I would love for them to have an option that I could turn it off. You're saying that alone.
I think you're putting subtle pressure on the devs when you make something not serious at all become more serious. And then you make the loonies that visit reset era that are probably going to latch onto your argument and make a big deal out of it, and then it gets back to them, and then they're going to be forced to change things when they probably didn't want to. Because at the end of the day, it's not really up to the devs. When there's pressure put on them, it's not. And because of your big dumb mouth, you're probably going to make that a feature in every game.
So what you're saying is that I am so powerful with my voice and my little show that currently has 200 people watching it, which I appreciate all of you. Thank you, fellas and Filettis.
No problem.
That I should basically say, I should never say anything that's nuanced, because even though I make it very clear, I don't want them to change it.
Mm-hmm.
By the very nature of mentioning it, I am putting out into the ether, I am putting into motion things that could create a scenario where it could get removed. And I should know that.
Absolutely. You know what I was thinking the other day? I used to play Street Fighter V, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a character in that game. Her name's Poison. She has a whip. She whips you with the whip, right?
Okay.
Then there's another character, Balrog, right? The black boxer.
Yes.
And I remember I was playing it. I'm like, I'm watching this character whip the hell out of a black man with a whip. And I think it's hilarious. But then I'm like, you know what? I always thought if I ever wanted to create a channel, maybe, because I like to troll, maybe I could make a big deal out of this. I guarantee you, I could have made a video saying it made me uncomfortable. It makes black people uncomfortable to see a black man whipped by a woman. Cool. It brings back trauma. And that might put pressure on Capcom to remove maybe Balrog from the game, or maybe her from the game, or just take the whip out altogether. It's stupid. Because what? It hurts my feelings? Even though it doesn't hurt, I'm just saying it could.
But you are talking about something different. I'm not.
No, it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
But wait a minute. Wait. Settle. You talked for 2 minutes. Let me respond.
Well, when you wait an hour, you got a lot of things to say.
Really, P Turtle? I'm sorry. You're such a big name that Yeah, and
I got 300 followers on Twitter now.
I understand. But okay. So, but think about what you're really saying, though. You're basically saying that I have a channel where I talk about my responses to the video games I play and to game design and all that shit, my history in the industry, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And what I need to do, though, is censor myself on the off chance that something I say, even though I'm not saying the end result that you're suggesting, which is they change it.
I didn't say you said change it. I said adding the feature could lead to a slippery slope.
On the off chance that something I suggest could lead to something where they take it out, even though I'm not suggesting them take it out. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I should just shut up about it.
You know why I'm telling you that? Because that's your response to us anti-woke people every time we have something to say about a video game. You say, well, if you don't like it, just don't play it. Just move on to another game. There's millions of other games.
But I'm not.
So how about you, David Jaffe? Go play Concord. Oh, wait, you can't. Because it's a woke failure, and it's no longer on the PlayStation Store.
Okay, but I'm not saying that. I'm not suggesting that I want your game to change. I'm continuing. Have you even played Call of Duty Black Ops 6 beta?
Hell no, I got no interest in that.
Right, so shut the fuck up. I've played the shit out of it. But the point is, though, it's a game. I'm a customer. I have Game Pass, although I've bought the ones in the past. And I have an opinion on their game, but I also love their game. It's excellent.
I feel like you're purposely missing my point. Do you have that same energy?
I'm not missing your point, but
do you have that same energy when we make big problems about other games that are woke? Do you not tell us to just shut up and play another game? That you're sick of hearing it? Do you not say that to us?
I'm trying to think.
Oh my God, disingenuousness. Woo!
No. I'm trying to think because I'm trying to think of like a specific game that actually is woke. Because I mean, Suicide Squad is not woke. So take The Last of Us Part 2. I think we would both agree that what people call woke is all over Last of Us Part 2, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, and I love that game, but regardless. So Last of Us Part 2, if you complain that there are lesbian characters in that game, and I would say, well, then don't play it. That's exactly right. You're absolutely right. Because you can't handle that, right? I'm not saying I can't handle it in the game. I'm just commenting, hey, I'm playing this game. I really like it. I find this distasteful. Here's an idea of maybe how they could adjust it. I'm not saying play it or don't play it. I'm not saying they should change it. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying
you're saying add this feature. So what if I said, you know what? Instead of me having to see that horrible ugly girl Dina and Ellie kissing, maybe what you guys should do, Naughty Dog, is implement a feature where every time they do something gay, you block it out, so I don't have to see it.
That's
if
right.
I had put that out there, what
that
would you
is
say?
correct. That is a correct.
So what would you say? Would you tell me to fuck off? Let them make the game they want. There's other games out there, or would you say, well, yeah, I understand your point. Yeah, maybe they should put a feature in there so the bigots can be happy and the non-bigots can be happy.
Okay,
or should we all just shut the fuck up and let the devs make the game they want?
Okay, well, let's not kid ourselves. The devs never make the game they want. It's the publisher.
True.
But that said, though,
it used to be what the customer wanted, but not anymore.
It's all. We'll talk about that later. But your point, though, is valid. Your point, though, your analogy has now arrived at a place where I will say your comparison is now 1-to-1. Here's the only thing I think where the comparisons differ is gay people kissing, while it may be uncomfortable to you, most people don't look at that and say, A, it's not a crime, at least in America. And B, most people don't look at that and go, oh my God, that is so distasteful. Taking a dead body and fucking it in the butthole.
Oh my God. It's not fucking. See, that's
you're fucking it in the butthole.
No. You're not fucking the dead body in the butthole. You're dry humping it. You're pretending. You're messing with an animation to make it look like that. You're not doing that.
Okay, let's move forward. Anyway, I hear you, but I'm going to let you go. I think you've worn out your welcome with the chat, but I love nice talking to you as always.
Always a pleasure, man.
And I will talk to you soon. Thank you, Peter.
All right, cool. Later, man.
Yep, there he goes. Look, Rob the Mod, he brings up a good point in terms of the comparison, but P. Turtle says he doesn't like gay things, yet he likes watching a trans man whip a black man in Street Fighter. I don't know, man. I'm tired of all. I'm tired of people thinking I want to. Why is it? All I'm saying, Robert the Modder, is why is it that people they just take things wrong? I'm not saying change it. I'm not saying get rid of it.
People get bored.
I know.
People get bored and they want to they create what they want in the moment. It's just how it is.
Yeah, I guess so. That's fair. I shouldn't take it so seriously. Don't you think, Rob the Mod, I should just relax a little bit?
I mean, that's up to you.
No, Rob, you have to tell me.
That's up to you. But that's what I do. I don't listen to the garbage online.
Arathizzle says gay stuff makes me uncomfortable when I'm simulating butt sex. Right? I mean, that's they're too tied together. All right, Rob, I'll talk to you later, buddy. Thanks, man.
All right, man. Bye.
All right, there you go. Here's what I did want to tell you, though, that was absolutely fascinating to me about Call of Duty, though. And I know not everybody, whenever I talk Call of Duty, my numbers crater. Okay. I'm not gonna get into a big Call of Duty thing. It's about game design. Because it's why I love game design. Now, I was never, and I don't say this, I'm not being self-deprecating, I was never a great game designer. I was a great IP creator. I was a pretty darn good game director, and I was a good enough game designer that I could hang with other game designers, but I was never great at that. It's a math thing. It's an analytical thing. It's a logical thing. And this is not where my brain thrives. Okay. So I'm thinking about this, but my point is, though, but when I see great game design, I'm able to recognize and go, oh, that's so cool. That's so neat how just shifting a couple of numbers and a couple of things here and there can go from something that's not fun to something that's super fun. It's magic, right? It's not magic, it's math, but it feels like magic. So I want to talk about very briefly what's happening in Call of Duty Black Ops 6, the beta. I'm enjoying it. But I usually hate time to kill that's low like this game. This game has time to kill that it's certainly lower than Modern Warfare multiplayer 2 and 3. You get killed, one or two little, it's like ping, you're dead. Ping, you're dead. It's like, come on, man. It's back to that whoever sees you first. I usually hate that. But there's two little simple math tricks they use that make it absolutely not a problem for the first time for me. The first one, if you die in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 or 3 multiplayer, your respawn isn't that long depending on the mode, but it's like 3 seconds, maybe 5 seconds. It's a little punishing, not so bad though, right? But your time to kill in those games, you can last longer, so you don't die as much, right? In Black Ops 6 beta multiplayer, the time to kill is disturbingly low. But my God, you are back in that match. It is like a second, half a second. It's like press F, boom, you're right back in there. Okay, so it doesn't even really feel like you've died. It feels like, yeah, you got hit, you quote died, but there's almost no punishment for it other than score or things you might lose or whatever, kill streaks and whatnot. The other thing, though, that makes it work even better, these things, like I said, design-wise, all these little pieces working together, and I don't know if this is going to translate into the final game. They only, I think, have given us about 3 maps to play in the beta that just launched. It runs a few more days, I think, are really fucking small. They are really, really fucking small. And so unlike other games where you die and let's say you have to wait 2 to 3 seconds and come back in, the maps are so big that then you have to run around to find the next point of engagement. And there's fun in that. Like I said, I like Modern Warfare 2. I like Modern Warfare 3. But the fact that Black Ops 6 maps are so teeny tiny, mixed with the instant respawn, mixed with the time to kill being so low, it is staggeringly addictive. And I just wanted to share that, not because I want you to go play Call of Duty, but because I love that magic of game design, that you can take two little knobs, tiny little maps, fast respawn, put in a very low time to kill or a high time. You die fast. Suddenly it's like a fucking symphony being played. It's just the coolest fucking thing. It's the coolest fucking thing. A says Black Ops has always had smaller maps. That's why I prefer it. I don't know if I have ever played any Black Ops multiplayer before. I really only got into Call of Duty about 4 versions ago. So it's pretty cool. Pretty fucking cool, man. I dig it. All right. What else we want to talk about? There was one other thing. There was the Call of Duty rape thing. There was Concord we talked about. What was the other thing we want to talk about? Concord is, hang on, let me get this message here. I think I'm going to learn this software. I apologize, fellas. But yeah, I agree, Quinn. Call of Duty is incredible. But you know, a lot of times, the popular games, hardcore gamers really walk away from those hardcore, or from those mass games. And it's a real fucking shame. Because, you know, if you look at Call of Duty, it's a genuinely fun fucking game. If you look at college football, it's a really fucking fun game. 1 Minute Gamer, where's the link to join? You want to call in, you mean? To like call on the phone? So Black Ops 2 was the last for you? No, I don't remember. I really started getting into Call of Duty on the Black Ops campaign where all the red doors were dropping from the sky. And after that, I've played every single one that's come out. I've played the multiplayers, and I've just absolutely fallen in love with it. It's just a great deal of fun. Great deal of fun. You want to talk about how good Star Wars Outlaws is? I mean, yeah, we can talk about that. Look, man, I did not like that game for the first handful of hours at all. Now, I've talked about this, but I mean, it gets rolling once it gets out of its own way, forcing you to do stealth. and it's excellent for a Star Wars game. It's if you love Star Wars, it's great. I have no way to know how much of it is I'm loving because it does Star Wars so well, and how much of it is because it's a genuinely great game. But I am having a great time playing it. It's quite delightful. I walk away from Call of Duty, says Carlos, because if I stay, it's the only game I'll play since my time is limited. I get that. I absolutely get that. Carlos says, I love Star Wars, but it doesn't appeal to me. What do you mean? What part of it? You mean Outlaws doesn't appeal to you? Why not? Quinn, I agree. Titanfall, he says, is in a league of its own, severely underrated. I don't know about the multiplayer, but Titanfall 2, the campaign is blisteringly brilliant. It's absolutely wonderful. Stephen Hawkins says, can we talk about how gay Pete Turtle is and he hates himself for it and wants to suck the shit off your penis after you bang him? That is why he is screaming but Jaffe. Could be, which is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no writer. I mean, that's a ridiculous concept but I do think there's some shit going on in that man's head, obviously. Let's see. The new lead was an activist. I imagine people felt some kind of way with an outsider wanting to kill Joel. Oh, you're talking about Last of Us. Okay, gotcha. Send the link for the phone. I gotcha. Okay, yeah, if you want to call in, here you go. It's right here. But, again, there's absolutely nothing wrong. Does Star Wars have lightsaber stuff? No. It is, as they say, very much a Han Solo simulator, although you're not playing Han Solo. It's smuggling, it's sneaking, it's shooting, it's flying spaceships around. There's very little Force stuff in it at all. Kyler says, Jaffe, do you think the Horizon multiplayer game will be free to play? Look, I think at this point, I mean, I don't know what it is. It sounds like it's a survival game. In that case, maybe not. But it probably should. Because if you look at like Once Human, which is a really successful, good survival game, a lot of the survival games are free now. But that's a little different because you can kind of get away with those being sold. But I don't really have a lot of faith. The only Horizon game that's on my radar is the Lego one because it actually genuinely looks fun. I love Star Wars, Jaffe, says Jonathan, but I won't buy Ubisoft games at full price because they'll be on sale in a month. Oh yeah, no, there's no doubt. But at the same time, I'm playing it for $18 on Ubisoft Plus, which is going to allow me to play that and play Assassin's Creed Shadows. But I know some people like to own the shit. So, Masochista, Jaffe, what's going on? Masochista, are you there? Did you see the Mario Luigi trailer? It's so funny considering Concord. I have not. No. I mean, I saw the original one. Gino says, Jaffe, did you play the beta of Concord? I did. Did I enjoy it? Yeah. I mean, I didn't enjoy it as much as Marvel Rivals. I played it both weekends, I think. I did not enjoy it enough I maybe got in like 5 games in total. I played it to go, what is this? And then I moved on with my life. Rivals I played a shit ton of. I can't wait for it to come back. But Concord was not really my cup of tea. What's up, Masochista?
Yo, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened. What's up?
Well, doing a game show, talking about games. What's up with you? What do you want to talk about?
Nothing. What do you want to talk about?
You are aware you called me, right? Just to be clear.
Well, I would start with, I was listening to what you were talking about with Pete Turtle. I think Pete Turtle is basically, in summary, is just, he's saying just leave him alone and let him butt rape in peace in Call of Duty. That's it.
I think that's
what he's saying. Just leave him alone.
But joking aside, though, it really did bother me. I hate to admit it and cop to it, but it really bothered me that the response to my response was not from Pete Turtle, but from the internet at large that responded on Twitter and on my YouTube video, was not like measured. It was just like, this is terrible. This is the worst take ever. And I'm like, And none of these people respond when I say, okay, what is the worst take ever? That I say the developers should be free to do what they want. I don't want them to take it out of the game. I'm offering an option that I would like, but I'm not going to not play the game. That's the worst take ever.
I think it's when he was comparing it with the gay stuff from Last of Us Part 2. But I think the problem is that they're attaching themselves to butt rape. So that's where it's weird.
I don't know.
They want to compare it,
but right, but they don't even want to admit that it's. But I mean, the guy who put the TikTok out that unveiled this to me, I didn't even know it was a thing, is literally saying the guy who's doing it says I don't know what the term was, but it's something like I'm dropping bang or something in his butt, and then this other guy's like, dude, he took me hostage and he's fucking raping me in the corner. They're saying it. So the idea that it's like, oh, it's not rape. Why is your head going there, Jeffy?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, because you're taking a penis and sticking it in somebody's butthole.
And even if it's dry hump, like he was saying, it's still fucking weird. It's two male characters dry humping each other. That doesn't make it any.
And he's like,
better.
that's how you show dominance. I'm like, no, that's how you go and prep for the Pride Parade. What are you talking about? And nothing's wrong with that. There's nothing in the world wrong with it.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with
that. Enjoy the shit out of it, but don't fucking pretend, that it's like what? It's just sitting down and they're doing their taxes. No, he's fucking that guy in the butt. That's what it is.
Oh man. Anyways, what would you do with Concord if you were the lead designer, lead whatever right now?
Is it back shots? Is what it was called, Bukaki? That's what he says. This guy, I'm giving this guy back shots or something. I don't know. It's something I'd never heard. Okay, so if I had, you mean today?
Yeah, like right now with the whole situation, because apparently they're removing it, but they're gonna come back with it at some point, maybe.
Well, they're not like we've canceled it, but there's a lot of things to think about why. Like I said at the top of the show, it's either they knew this would eventually become free to play, or they knew this would eventually become PlayStation Premium only. That's the way you get it. And so they're just going quicker, and they don't want to sell it to piss people off or get a class action lawsuit when suddenly I bought this and 2 days later it's free to play. Fuck you, Sony. It's they are going to just cancel it, or they don't know, or they have other plans. So if you're asking me what I would do if I was in a situation where they are today and I had all the power in the world, I would take it. I would bring in some better level designers to make the level designs a little bit more fun. I would get rid, at least for now, of their mode that's not team deathmatch, because it's designer porn. I'm not saying it's not clever. I'm not saying it's not interesting. But it assumes people are going to play your game a certain way, and they're clearly not. And then, frankly, I would go in. I would I don't think they're going to have the opportunity to go in and remodel or re-rig the characters and all that. But if money wasn't an object, or there was enough time, I really would make this a PlayStation hero shooter. I think the game has this very good bones for a shooter. I think taking it and making it, I can be Kratos, I can be what's his name, Sly Cooper, I can be Nathan Drake, I can be Ellie, I can be Astrobot, and it's basically every month they release a new PlayStation character, and it's basically Marvel Rivals, but it's PlayStation Rivals. That's what I would do.
Yeah, because I played it when it was in beta, and it felt good. It was fun. I liked the loop and everything. But for me, it's just that it's a hero shooter. I've already played it, and I know for a fact that I would get bored after day 7 in a week. I would be like, all right, I'm done. I don't really want to keep playing anymore. What I would like them to do is to add an extraction mode to it.
But every game's got how many of those? I mean, there's just so many fucking extraction games out there. I mean,
but there's not one where it's commercialized, where it's simple enough for the casual audience.
You don't think you don't think Warzone is that? Warzone has an extraction mode, doesn't it?
It's DMZ, but theirs isn't. It's not actually like it's not good. They half-assed it. But if you do it with like Concord, for example, and you actually commercialize it and make it simple enough for the casual audience to actually try and play that I think that would be a good spin to it, and it would catch a lot of these battle royale streamers' attention, and they would start playing it as well. And if it's good, I think that would hook. And if it hooks them, I think that's where they'll start getting traction on top of the modes that you like or whatever they have now.
Right.
They can leave that alone.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think the bigger issue is really, you know, no one knows in this space what's going to work. And in this space, it's, I'll let you go, Masochist. Thanks for calling, buddy. I appreciate it.
I know what's worked. They have to listen to me because I know.
Fair enough. All right. Thanks, buddy.
All
Talk
right,
to you later. But in this space, I think it's easier if you're like, I want to tell a story with a platformer as the base game, and here's how it would work. And it's easier for a lot of people to see that. But when you're talking about this particular type of game, it's hard to know why something works and doesn't. Like somebody earlier was saying, oh, well, they already tried a bunch of PlayStation characters in the Brawler. Well, first off, that was a successful game. It sold over 1 million copies, but more importantly, you know, we know that those kinds of games can work. We see it with what's called the goddamn Smash Bros. Right? I think they should do more of a not Smash Bros, but I think they should do more of a Power Stone with Sony characters. But the idea, though, of character-based, franchise-based characters being kind of locked into much loved sort of types of games, I don't think anything's wrong with that. I just think you have to make them better. It's like Marvel Rivals. Jojo D, good to see you, buddy. I'm late. Why hasn't Marvel Snap come to consoles? I agree. It's a great game, and it should 100%. Star Wars without George Lucas sucks. I tweeted this the other day, Brad Skagg. I'm playing the Star Wars Outlaws, and it's so good at taking you and putting you in that world that I was just like, and I'm sure fans would hate it, some of them. I would love to see them go, and Lucas probably has no interest at all. That the idea of Lucas coming on and saying, hey, would you write us some DLC? You know, could you create like a 2-hour DLC for one of your stories you never got to tell in Star Wars? I'd play the fuck out of that. The sandbox we've gotten with Star Wars Outlaws is basically a Star Wars open world storytelling sandbox that I don't know if there's money in it, but I sure hope that they continue to use that for a long time to come, because I think there's a lot you could fucking do with it. Listen to this. I just found this out. I'm not opening up the red phone. Call in on this. The red phone doesn't tie into this fucking thing. But I'll figure it out next time. I'm trying to get this software working. I appreciate it though. Somebody just said on the stream though, that the casting of Frank Stone is out today. I did not know that, but my afternoon streaming schedule is now set. If you want to watch the casting of Frank Stone, if you don't know what that is, that is basically single player horror game. In fact, I think it's multiplayer. And if I'm right about this, and I think I can give you codes to play with me, it's like The Quarry. It's from the Supermassive guys that did The Quarry, and they did Until Dawn. They've done Man of Medina. They did all the Dark Pictures anthology. I think you can play it with me, and we can make choices together. So if I get codes that come with the purchase, I'll give them out to some members. But I'm excited. And it's set in the Dead by Daylight universe about a bunch of kids making a movie, kind of like Super 8, and everything goes shits up. So unless I get offline, has anybody got a Metacritic for it? Can somebody tell me what the reviews are of that? Oh, there we go. So we got Stephen Hawkins. There we go. There he is.
Yeah, baby.
See? So you're here. What do you want to talk about, man? How are you?
I'm doing fine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great.
All right, good. I don't know why my cam's not working. Oh, well, fuck it.
I can see you. I can hear you.
Oh, okay. You can hear me. I can't see you. That's weird.
Don't worry about it. I'm beautiful.
You want to see Peaches? Fucking
Not at all.
goddamn it, Peaches.
Not
Fuck
at all.
Peaches.
What do you want to talk about, baby? Come on.
Oh, just about how Pete Turtle, that motherfucker pisses me off so bad. I don't know if he's like just doing AAA trolling here, or if he just is just that goddamn retarded. Like, come the fuck on, man. Butt raping, you think that shit's cool in a fucking video game. Next we're gonna hear about how he wants we should have kids getting raped in video games and how that's completely okay. It's like, come on.
You have a
Jesus.
but you have, and I agree with you, by the way, but you have a very specific, and I don't know if you want to share it with the audience, but you have a very yeah, I mean your take on it, by the way, is exactly what I'm saying. Whether or not you are, and people are going to say, well, kids shouldn't fucking play call. You say, yeah, they shouldn't, but they do. Whether it's the fact that you want to take that out, not for everybody, just you want to be able to flip a switch to take it out, or because of your situation. Go ahead and tell them real quickly, why it sticks with you.
Well, I mean, I think I've talked to you about it. My best friend of like fucking 6th grade, she got raped and then she fucking shot herself to death in like 2011, right? And I was in the fucking army at the time, and I never got to mourn it or get any closure. And her commanding officer fucking raped her, and it's just really sad. So and then I've known people when I was in the military who got raped by mostly women who got raped by other guys. So it's just like, it's just not fucking cool, I mean, like this is the biggest game out there, I think. I don't think there's a whole lot bigger than Call of Duty.
It's one of the biggest. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like, why would you fucking do that? How many fucking people, like I said, I think I said this shit. You know how many fucking guys in the military play Call of Duty? And you know what? A lot of them have been fucking raped. The battle buddy system exists so you don't get fucking butt raped when you're overseas. People don't realize that. But, your battle buddy, don't go anywhere without your battle buddy. There's a fucking reason for that. Because if you go out and let's just say you're in Afghanistan or Iraq, they will jump you and fucking rape you just to humiliate your ass. Because in their culture, rape is a way of humiliating people. So I mean, it's not fucking cool.
But for sure, and so again, I'm not saying, and people in the chat are saying, but dude, it's not real. It's fantasy. Again,
that's not the point.
Yeah, it's not the point. The point is, though, no one's saying take it out, but can we not even have a complaint about it? That's what offends me the most, is apparently that you can't even have an opinion that is different than theirs, or you are you're somehow some kind of pearl clutcher that wants to remove, and ban books and shit. I'm not saying change it. I'm just saying I don't like it.
I'm not for censorship. I'm virtually against censorship on almost everything. I'm one of those fucking people who says, if the KKK want to go out and they want to use hate speech, right? I don't like it.
Right. I'm the same way. They have in America. The reason you went over, I imagine, to fight is for that freedom. Is that, of course, freedom of speech is only valuable, as people say, and it's true if you defend the right to someone to say something you think is horrible.
I mean, same goes with flag burning, right?
Yeah.
I don't like flag burning. I think it's fucking disgraceful, personally, right? But this is the thing. If you want to take our flag and wipe your ass with it, you want to fucking burn it, I will be the first person to say, leave the motherfucker alone. That's his right. People died for that right. Leave him the fuck alone.
100%. And I wish more people, it's like, protest is in free. I mean, that's what you fight for. Anyway, well, I appreciate you doing it. And I'm with you. I'm with you on this one, buddy. I'll talk to you later. Thanks, man.
All right. You too. All right. Bye.
Turbo World, it's Jaffe. What's going on? Turbo World, where have you been all my life? Turbo World, are you there? Yes, these are already posted. It goes up immediately on YouTube right when I'm done. All right. Well, Turbo World, I don't know if there's anything you want to say. Was somebody joking about the 69 that the game got? I want to go check real quick. Hang on, I'll be right back. I'm Metacritic. I want to see, because if it's got terrible reviews, I'm not getting it. Casting of Frank Stone. I want to see what the reviews are. I hope it's good because I really want to play it. Oh no, 69. I don't know. I'll give it a look. I'll see if it's worth playing. Okay. Never trust reviews. Could be true. I didn't play Sleeping Dogs. No, I did not. All right, fellas. Well, that's the show for right now. I'll be back with something later this afternoon or videos. I'll be doing some content today. I'm just not sure what, but that's the core free swim. Thanks for hanging out, talking games, talking Concord, Call of Duty, everything else. Sagan says it's good. Check it out. Oh, I heard. At Hacker says you do have the right to say what you want. You have a right to burn a flag. Don't be surprised when you get punched in the face. Well, if you punch somebody in the face for it, you should go to jail for assault. You have a right to punch somebody in the face in the sense that do it, but we have laws against it. All right, fellas, be well, be safe. Consider a membership, consider a follow, consider a like, consider sharing, telling your pals, your palettes about the greatest stream in the world. And also while you're telling them about that, mention this one. I would appreciate it. Be safe, be well, take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, you guys.